Hello everybody, Mr. Sticksman here, and welcome back to Stormworks. Right in front of me, I've got this enormous list of things that we're meant to be adding to this barge today. But all that is because in the next video, I'm hoping to actually take this thing out on its first voyage, and we're going to do an actual proper job with it as well. So it's not just going to be a test run, it's going to be a real run. And that will be in preparation for the $10 million haul that we're going to be doing in the near future. Let's get to work. To begin with, we're going to add a huge addition to the deck of our barge, but it all starts over here with this winch. Now, what I'm thinking at the moment is that this winch is where we're actually going to be putting fuel or any kind of fluid in and out of our fluid tanks there. So I'm going to move it forwards a bit, and then I'm going to add some pumps as well, and then we're going to put our piping all the way along so it sort of attaches to all three of these tanks. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do. So let's get started with that. I think that's a good spot there actually, because, you know, ideally this thing is kind of close to the bow. It was a bit far back before anyway. But yeah, now we're going to just fill in this hole here and put some pumps in. We're going to use the large fluid pump for this because obviously it's a bit more powerful than the smaller one. They're not that much more expensive, to be honest, $100 versus $200. I'm actually going to have 2 pumps for the in and 2 pumps for the out as well. And that's just because our winch here is going to be extending, I reckon, at least 100 meters up to the sell point for the jet fuel. And with a hose that long, it may need a bit of extra pressure just to get it through at speed. So that's why I'm putting 2 here. I haven't actually tested it, but you know, I'm just doing it in case really. This is the side where the fuel is coming in, okay, so it'll always go through one point on the winch, whether it's in or out, and then it's going to be separated between 2 different directions after the winch. So this is going to be the in, it's going to come in here and over to our fuel tanks, then on the other side we'll have it going the other way, basically, just like that. So that's perfect, I think. And then of course we're going to actually attach them to our winch, otherwise they won't be any good at all. So I'll put symmetry mode on for this. And we'll just make a bit of a pathway here for our pipes. Okay, so this is where our pumps actually kind of filter into one pipe from 2. So the fuel is going through these angle pieces here and then into this T-piece. That's where it moves into 1. And then it's just going to simply go all the way along into the winch just under there. Nice and simple. Next, we're going to actually get our pipes going all the way over to our fuel tanks. And guys, in a minute, we're going to add a big structure onto our deck. It's going to look really, really cool, and it's going to be very useful as well, probably. So we'll get the pipes down first, and then we'll work on that in a minute. As you can see, our maintenance hatch is actually in the way, so I am going to be moving these today. We're going to have basically the same idea, but I'm going to reposition it. So for now, we'll just get rid of that and do that later on. Okay, that's gone. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take away these, the gauge and the fluid anchor there, because our fuel is not actually going to go in here. It's actually going to go over the top of these. Now, this here is the center point, okay, and either side of that, we're going to have fluid ports. And they're going to be facing down into the tank, of course, so the fluid can go in and out from inside. In the center, we won't have anything at all, actually. And then above that, we're going to have valves. Now, when we get around to using this system, we'll of course see why these valves are important, but essentially it enables fluid to either go into this tank as it passes over, or it blocks it off. So I'm going to be able to choose if I want to only fill up this tank and none of the other tanks, or maybe I want to bypass this one and only fill up the middle tank here, or maybe I want to fill all of them up at exactly the same time, so it's evenly spread weight. All of that stuff is going to be controllable because of these valves, so that's what we're doing with these. And we're going to put some T-pieces on top of those. Then we're just going to go all the way over here and connect them up to our line where the pumps are, basically. Then what we're going to do is the same thing all the way over to the last tank over here. So we'll just get that done quickly. Okay, that's done now. So technically, you know, when we've set up our controls, we can actually, you know, fill up these tanks and empty them using the winch and the pipes and the valves and all that. Now, our control room for this is going to be inside here. So in the last episode, I was talking about what we're going to do with this room in this video, and that is the plan. We're actually going to use that, not right now. We're going to actually add a structure onto the deck first, but we're going to come in here later on and turn this into a control room for our pumps and all that stuff. Anyway, I'll cover that up for now, just in case we have to spawn it in. Otherwise, it will sink straight away. There we go. Now it's time to add our really big structure, and the plan is now to add a catwalk that goes all the way along the top with multiple staircases around these tanks here, so it gives us really good accessibility around the deck, and it just means that we've got a way of, you know, going over these pipes and that kind of thing. So let's get that done. It's going to start over here where this staircase is, but actually we're going to make a new staircase, so that's not quite what we want. I might as well put these on our action bar down here because we're going to use them quite a lot. This is how wide I'm actually going to have this catwalk, and it's going to go all the way along. We are going to add some details and some railings, of course, something like this. So we're just going to make a big basic platform that goes all the way across and then start, you know, improving it as we go. Okay, now at this end, we're going to have some stairs which go over the pipes here. And I'll probably keep it kind of right next to our tank. So maybe we'll bring the wedges down here. I'm going to use a similar kind of stair system to what we had inside as well. So it's got wedges either side of the steps. And actually, we probably want to have some blocks coming out first, like this, and then the wedges. Somehow I managed to mess up the other side, but I fixed it now, so that's all good. And yeah, this is going to be the general idea all the way along, and then every time we have a gap here between the tanks, I'm also going to have another sort of pair of staircases going either side of that as well. And then here at the back, we'll actually have one that comes down, you know, sort of lengthways with the ship to finish it off. Alright guys, and that's done now. What do you reckon? What do you think about the colour as well? I mean, I might make some changes here, but I've painted it kind of grey like the deck. Also, oh, I've missed a bar there, but I'm not really sure, like, you know, what colour to do the railings. Maybe they'd have some sort of anti-rust coating, which, you know, they could colour blue. I'm not sure really. Anyway, I'll do some research on that and we'll figure out in the future. Now, I'm very excited to spawn this in and have a run around and just test this stuff out. But what I think we should do next is focus on our control room for these tanks. So let's go over here. Now, this is not actually very tall, this room, at this sort of area of it. So I'm actually considering getting rid of this wall and bringing it back one. We'll just take away maybe like one level of blocks here, like that. Now, our air intakes are there as well. They might need to change a bit. I was thinking of actually moving those anyway, so we'll just sort of block them off for now. And we'll put a new wall in. And then I'm going to have a big cutout here with windows all the way across. That's the general idea. So now we'll just get our window. Okay, so it'd be something like that, and then inside we can see exactly what's going on, because that might be quite useful. Okay, now what I'm going to do is have a bit of a mess about with different control, you know, stations and consoles and all that sort of thing, and then I'll bring you back in when I've come up with a really good idea. Alright guys, and this is what I've come up with. So we've got this brand new console here, control console, which is everything to do with our pumping system and, you know, the tanks and all that stuff. So let's have a look round and see how it works. And also what I have done is, if we go to the front of the boat here, now this is only for a demonstration, these 4 tanks here, they're obviously not going to be there eventually, but it's just there so I can show you how the pumps and the tanks actually work. So back into our control room then, and first of all we've got some instrument lights here which light up our 3 gauges. The value on the left, which is now 0 on all of the tanks, that's going to be the actual, you know, fluid level in there, which of course I don't have anything in there at the moment, so that's why that's 0. The red value is the total capacity, so each tank is able to hold 128,531 litres at the moment. We'll see these working in a minute when we actually start filling them up and emptying them. Next, I've actually got cameras and lights inside the tanks as well, and I've got monitors here. Now that was a suggestion from a viewer actually, so thank you very much for that, and you will actually see me start to add things that you guys have suggested, so thank you very much, and hopefully we'll get as many of those done as we can. Anyway, so yeah, we've got some monitors up here and we can switch them on individually. Now that really affects my performance. I've just lost a ton of frames just by turning that on, so I'm not sure why, but I'll keep it there and we'll just sort of use it in a limited way. But yeah, that's the monitor for tank 1. And then also we have the lights in there as well. I've got 4 lights in there. And then of course we've got the same for tank 2 and 3 as well with their own lights in. But it's quite cool. We can see if there's any damage in there from this room, and also we can kind of check out all of the tanks from one location instead of having to run into each tank to have a look. So that's really useful. Next we come to the actual pumping system, and this is working very well now. So what I've got here are the valve controls. Okay, so for tank 1, tank 2 and tank 3, at the moment all of the valves are closed. So if we press the pump in button, the pumps are now working, but none of the tanks are actually filling, and that's because all the valves are currently closed. Now, if we open the valves for tank 1 here, it's going to actually... Oh, there we go. Something just happened on that. But yeah, now we've got this little LED indicator telling us that that tank is ready to fill. And again, if I do this for tank 2, it lights up 2, and that will light up tank 3. Okay, so say we just want to fill up tank 1 on its own. Press this one, pump in, and you can see now it is increasing fairly quickly. Tank 1 is filling up. And then we'll stop that. Okay, so now that's got, you know, just over 500 litres in there. Okay, but then say we want to go over to tank 2 and fill that up instead. So we just literally press the tank 2 button here for the valves. They're now open, pump in, and now tank 2 is filling up. But as you can see, tank 1 is not. That's staying at 500 litres. Okay. So we can stop that now, and now we've filled up a bit of both of those, and then the same again, obviously, the tank 3, we're filling that up individually now instead of, you know, all of them at the same time. If we want to just, you know, fill up, for example, 2 tanks, maybe we want to fill up tank 1 and tank 2 at the same time, but not tank 3, just press those on there, pump in, and now we can see that number 1 and number 2 are filling up, but tank 3 is not at all. Okay, and then maybe we just want to empty one tank as well. So for example, we might want to just empty tank number 3, just press that and then pump out, and there we go, tank 3 is emptying on its own and the other 2 are remaining the same. Or of course we can just put them all on and they'll all be emptying at the same time. Now of course, if we've got all of the valves open on all the tanks, they're going to kind of share the fluid between them, and so the emptying or filling up will be a bit slower in that case. See, that was on 0 now, so those 2 will speed up. But yeah, that's the general idea, and I decided, because I was thinking about going for diesel-powered pumps, actually, at some point. Also, actually, we should check the cameras. There we go, you can see the fluid going in on the camera, on the monitor. And they are huge, so there might not be enough fluid to actually, yeah, like visualize the actual water in there, because I'm just using fresh water at the moment. But yeah, you know, as that fills up, we should literally see that on the camera, which is really, really cool. Anyway, guys, that's my demonstration of this console so far. Of course, we can add things, change things. I might, you know, change these buttons to the switches. You know, I actually thought, well, I might as well just keep it simple where I can, because there's no point in having these instrument panels everywhere. It just adds, you know, extra microcontrollers and, you know, more time invested into something where it's not really necessary. So I might leave these as ordinary buttons here, but as you can see, there is space for more controls if we need it. On both sides, actually, quite a lot of space, so that's really, really cool. Anyway, I hope you guys like that one. It seems to be pretty good. I've got my microcontrollers under there at the moment, so they're actually on the panel itself, and this one here is just to tilt the pivots for the whole sort of console to tilt towards us. Anyway, let's go outside and have a look on the deck at... oh yeah, that's a button for the interior lights. I don't think I showed you that before, but I've also got stairwell lights here. It's pretty good, I think. But let's turn those off for now. And we'll run around here and actually have a look at our stairs and our catwalk. Yeah, that's pretty handy, isn't it? It's a nice, you know, it's a nice feature to have, and the sun is actually going down right now while we're recording this, so I might have to sort of wait for it to be daytime as we carry on here. Alright, now I'm going to add a few more details now. There's still more work to be done, so I'm going to do that, and some of them might even be viewer suggestions. Let's get into it. Alright then guys, that just about does it for today. Lots of work done here. As you can see, we've now got tyres, protective tyres all the way around, just to act as fenders really, in case we moor up to things or dock up to things. We've got anchors there now. We've got one on either side of the bow at the front. I may add some to the stern at some point. We've also got an extra ladder here, which was a viewer suggestion, so thank you very much for that, guys. And oh, maybe it's not actually high enough. I can't get onto it. I can't get onto it. Okay, that's it. That's all right. Okay. We've also got these sort of warning strips here on all of the entrances to the staircases. Perhaps I should have some where the ladders are as well. I can always have more, of course. We've got them back here as well. Now, this here is a fueling station for our actual engines and generators themselves. So we've got an in and an out, and we've got, you know, different connector types for the hose and the actual, you know, fluid connector there. We've got a light for it as well, an electrical connector so we can charge up the batteries with external things if we want to. What else have we got here? Pump in, pump out, you know, that kind of stuff. We have an indicator for when the tank is full and an actual gauge as well. Up here on the bridge we've got twin spotlights. Now these are going to be really handy, not just for illuminating our deck, but also, and I might have the controls in the bridge actually for that, but also of course we can use them for areas surrounding the barge as well, you know, if there's anything in the water. And just in case you're wondering, I will actually go inside and show you where the fuel pipes run to fuel up the engine. It's just down here, look. So underneath us of course is the fuel tank, and then this is where the pipes are, which go down into the tank directly, and we also have these fluid pumps as well, just for in and out. Nothing else has changed in the interior in this episode. It is usable now. I might add a third battery down there actually. But yeah, the boat is actually pretty much usable when we set up, you know, a few controls in the bridge. So we'll get that done, and in the next episode we'll actually take it out for a spin and make some serious, like, even in the next episode, like, it's only a setup mission, but we're still going to be making serious cash. These ladders are definitely not low enough, and it's mainly because the actual stern of the boat is, you know, sinking down a bit compared to the bow, but still I could extend those out a few, couldn't I? Anyway, these anchors here are actually going to be used when we're selling jet fuel, because there's nowhere really to moor up to, so they'll be very, very handy, especially if it gets a bit choppy out there. And then here's our bow thruster. Now, I know that we can use just one propeller, and I normally just use one propeller for my bow thrusters and stern thrusters. But I just thought I'd go with a different design for this one. So each propeller has its own separate motor, and we want them to be really, really gentle, so we're not going to be using anywhere near full power, I would assume. As you can see, it's not really under the water at the moment. So yeah, I might, now, you know, when I add a third battery, that's going to weigh down the bow a bit as well, and I'm going to be lightening up the stern as well, so that should be okay with a few adjustments. But yeah, we will need to make a few adjustments on that. With all that being done, guys, I think that's the end of the video. Amazingly, we've got so much done. Of course, there's still a lot more work to do. You know, there's extra things. I know a lot of you are suggesting helipads and stuff, and yes, I would really love to add one of those. So we might actually do it, but I don't think we'll do it, you know, before the setup mission. That might be something we add for when we actually do the real $10 million haul. And also, people are, you know, suggesting to have safety boats or lifeboats on the back. I've also got a plan for that as well. One reason why I haven't done that yet either is because this is a very heavy area, and I would like to have it here. It's a perfect location for it, isn't it? So I'll try and do that for sure, but we want to try and balance out the boat a bit first. But yes, as I say, I do actually have a plan for that, and the helipad as well. I'm not guaranteeing that I'll put either of those on, but yes, I really, really want to. So I will certainly be doing some testing. Also, of course, I would try to sort of dress up the interior a bit more, because it's very plain at the moment, isn't it? So yeah, I will possibly section this off into its own room, or hopefully have a room, you know, with a bed, and I'll definitely be putting, you know, fire extinguishers all over the place and welding torches, because we might well need those. But guys, these fluid jets that we've got are incredible, and in the next episode we'll see those in action. We're going to have them set up for reverse and for turning. We're basically going to be able to turn on the spot with those. It's going to be really, really good. I'll have to actually add in my air intakes for the engines, because I've deleted those. I'll have to find a better location for them perhaps, but don't worry, we'll get that done, and there's a lot more. So if you think there's something missing from this barge, you know, chances are that it will be added, or feel free to suggest it for future videos as well. It is still very much a work in progress. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I think that's just about us done for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed, this video and the other videos. And there's plenty more on the way, of course. I really, really do appreciate it. And we're on the way to 1,000, guys. Come on, we've got to hit it. We've got to smash 1,000. 1,000 subscribers. Let's go. Let's do this. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Take care. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.